On behalf of the UNDG Communications and Advocacy Working Group, we'd like to welcome you here today and to thank you for joining us for this webinar. Today we're going to go through a very important Communicating as One tool, which is designing, developing and managing a One UN website. And the idea behind today's session is to provide UN country teams and UNCGs with guidance on what to do, what to consider before setting up a One UN website, and how to get ready to engage in this kind of project. So over the next hour or so, we're going to share pointers to ensure that the setup phase of this project runs smoothly. And so we'll be speaking to colleagues who'll give us a lot of tips on the kinds of conversations, discussions, consultations, thoughts that you need to have around content before you actually get into the technical setup of a website. And then in May, we'll be holding a follow-up webinar going through technical options and issues for setting up the site. UNDP gives technical support for developing and running UNCT websites, and we'll have our expert at that webinar to discuss the technical aspects with you. But today, our colleagues from DIRCO and the RC officers from Bosnia-Herzegovina and the DRC are going to share recommendations, their tips and experiences of launching their own UN websites. I'm going to give the floor now to Maria Blanco, who is a DIRCO comms and knowledge management specialist. And she's going to take us through the session for the next hour or so and kick off with some tips on how to go about beginning your website project.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to participate in this webinar. As Caroline has mentioned, this webinar will be followed by another one at the end of May, where we would like to go through the technical options available to set up a website. However, before moving to that stage, there's a checklist that we would like to share with you. So the process of setting or migrating your site runs as smoothly as possible. So in the next hour, we will go through some of the reasons why we need a website, all the things you need to do before launching your site, and tips on outlining the structure, writing the sections, and organizing other content that you might find interesting to include in your site. We will have then Florence Marshall from the DRC sharing with us her experience setting up her first UN website. And then we will have Pavle from Bosnia, who will explain us how he has been able to make communications everyone's business in his office. And then, of course, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to answer to have questions to either me or the colleagues that are participating today. So, whoops. Okay. So, why do we need a site? There are many reasons why we need why a website is necessary and why we need a site. But I wanted to start with this great quote. It might sound a little bit dramatic, but if we have a story to tell, and that means if we want to share our existence as an organization, the web is the place. And there's no way around that anymore. So if you aren't in Google, you basically don't exist. And currently, according to Google and according to the IMS data that you have kindly shared with us, we don't exist in 35% of the countries we serve. This means we don't have UN country websites in 46 countries. And this challenge, it's a challenge because a one UN site, it can be the main showcase for us to share our collective story and to share basically what we do in a country, in any given country, and to share with partners, the public, the general public, and donors, what is our work about, in what we are prioritizing our work, and also, as I said, share with our main donors the progress in our programs and results, which is key, and now more than ever, as most of you might know. And then another reason why a website is important. If you are thinking of going social, a web is your first step. Your website will be always your home country, and your social media are your embassies. This is how you have to think if you are planning to like come up with a Facebook page or a Twitter page. It doesn't matter if it's for a one UNCT country site or for any agency site. If you are thinking of going social, think that you have to start first with a website. So we have answered like the basic questions around the. Sorry, we have answered some. So yeah, we have answered some of the reasons why we need a website, and now the next step is to see if we are ready to move forward. When thinking about a website, some people start with the software, the content management system that we will use for our site. However, although this is highly relevant, the most difficult and laborious part is to identify, write, and approve the content that will be displayed in our site. This is key before thinking about any like software or content management system. So whether you are migrating to a new system or starting from scratch, deciding and organizing the content will take most of your time. So that's why we wanted to focus on this part of the process in this webinar. So, but before that, let's start. Let's go quickly through a few things to be addressed before thinking of the content and so. First of all, we will need the UNCT approval. You need your UNCT to have a commitment to develop the site. Why? Because they will be in charge of basically providing the budget in case you need it at all, and also to support any updates of the site. That means if your UNCT is committed to the project, your UN communications group will be committed to the project. So the approval of the UNCT and the team endorsing this project is key. Then the second part should be basically agreeing on a division of labor around how to manage the website and how updating the site will be operationalized. The recommended proposal, and our colleague Pablo here will be sharing his experience on this matter, is to basically make communications everyone's business. Agencies, funds, programs should consider the One UN site as one of the channels, if not the main one, to disseminate their activities. And also an agreement on recommendations of what should be posted and what shouldn't be posted should be done in the framework of the communications group to agree on key guidelines to communicate our work. So basically, once you have the UNCT approval and your division of labor and a decision on whether you need the budget or not, then you will have to move to the first step on any web project, outlining the structure of your site. So we would like to recommend a few sections that we find they are key, that should be included in every website that wants to tell our UN collective story. And the first section, will be an about us section to share the story of the UN in the country, which agencies conform the UNCT, and other information like where are we located and the contact details. So about us is a pretty corporate section, but it's an essential one. What we do and our work will be another section that we would like to recommend. And this section should be written around the UNDAF priorities. We should showcase our priorities in the country as a UN country team in this site. We recommend a short subsection per each of the priorities in the UNDAF or in our joint common plan. If you have any joint programs, it will be also the place to include them. Then the third section will be the news center. The news center, we can include news, press releases, multimedia items that you might have, like videos or photos, and statements. And this will be a key section on your site, and we will see why after in a couple of minutes. But yeah, that will be the third section that we are proposing. Publications is self-explanatory, like key publications that the UN system in the country publishes. It's actually the website is a great tool to have a document repository of our key knowledge pieces to share with partners, donors, and the general public and academia, actually. Both the joint publications and also the agency publications. And last but not least, we would like to recommend a section on the 2030 agenda. As you know, this is everyone's agenda now, so we consider that this should be also part of your key main menu on your One UN City website. And I would like to finish with another recommendation that is which is photos. Photos are essential. Visuals are essential nowadays, and you should consider having a good photo database. Everything looks better with pictures, as you can see. And if you don't have any nice photo database, really consider hiring a photographer. It's money, but it will always be worth it. So we would like to go to the kind of content, to differentiate the content of the section that we have just explained. So basically, there are two types of content here. The what we do and about us sections. This will be sort of like static content, the perennial content, and this will not change too much on time, since they explain the essentials of the organization and the essentials of our 4 years work plan for the country. And also we could add here the 2030 agenda, at least at the beginning, like in maybe the first year, because these priorities, of course, they will not change in a couple of years, but maybe like our work related to it, it will be changing on time. But basically, as of now, it might be also sort of like a static content section. And then the news center and the publication sections will be in practice the only deciduous content of our site. Our plan to update the site actually should be around these two sections, the news center and the publication section. Oops, sorry about that. So, but we would like to share like some proposals on how to arrange basically the content around our work section or what we do section, and we would like to propose the structure, issue, action, impact. If you are related to UNICEF branding guidelines, this is key for that organization, and I think we can all use it. And because whatever the type of story you are writing for an external audience, this is a good rule of thumb to use this model. Issue and action impact. So basically, what is the issue and the problem in any specific country? What action is the UN taking to address this issue? And what is the result or change that you are expecting to have? This so this will be like a way that we are proposing for you to organize the content on your what we do section. In terms of the serious content, in terms of the dynamic content, we should try to organize information following what is called the inverted pyramid model. And this means that we should try to catch our readers' attention in the first few words and to focus in the following key facts: who, what, where, when, how, and why at the beginning of the article. So first, one and second paragraph, let's focus on the 5 W's and how. So so we can include the essential stuff of any article at the beginning of the piece. So start with the conclusion and then follow with the details, the quotes, the specifics, and then at the end go and explain the context or the background. Don't start with the context and the background. Sometimes we tend to do that, but actually that should be like the last part of your article. Another helpful tip is to basically keep one idea per paragraph. I know it's difficult, but we should try. Because basically when it comes to news, shorter and to the point is better. And we would recommend not to write more than 500 or 600 words per story or press release, because the website is a medium that basically help us to communicate our story like in a shorter way, and people don't have like don't spend a lot of time. So let's make it short to the point. Or in other words, here are some tips. The headlines, don't use more than 8 words or even less if you can. Sentences, 15 or to 20 words. Paragraphs, 40 to 70 words. And if you have like long articles, try to break them into several web pages. This is a good example from Montenegro. We haven't, I mean, I haven't posted all the page, but actually you have a photo of the activity itself, not the UN staff inaugurating the activity, but like the people that are actually participating in the activity. And then if you browse through the content, is very well structured as well, including like the 5 Ws, etc. at the beginning of the paragraph. So then results. As you know, results should be part of the story that we are telling. This is like essential for our work. But meetings, workshops, and trainings are not results. Meetings, workshops, and trainings are just a means to an end. So please try to capture the end in your story. Try to capture results, the laws, those that have been drafted and passed, like those people that have more access to, those women that have more access to health, for reproductive health care, for instance. More cases of gender-based violence are reported as a result of our work. These are results. Meeting, workshops, and trainings are not results. So we know this is challenging, but communicating how we promote mid and long-term changes in our countries is essential to sharing the relevance of the UN, and now more than ever. So I would like to share with you a challenge. Try to write a paragraph about your most important non-emergency achievement in the past year without using the words support, capacity building, and strengthen. I know this is super difficult, but we have to try. We have to be creative. We have to look, as I said before, what is the end of our meetings? What are our trainings for? What are our workshops for? And then try to capture that story behind these activities. So, yeah, we should be a little bit more creative. Then I would like to finalize this part of the presentation, sharing with you some of the projects that we are working on here in DOCO with all the UNDG members. And first of all, we will be upgrading our UNDG website to capture better how coordination promotes sustainable development. We will be sharing more stories from the country level, and also information from the Silo Fighters blog, to which you are all invited to participate. So you will be seeing these changes excuse me, soon, this year soon. And then we would like also to share with you a project that is that DOCO is working on, which is it's called as of now UN Info, but maybe the name will be changing. And it will be a monitoring tool which countries will be able to use to assess their UNDAVs. Mozambique and Tanzania are already using it, and the team here with some country colleagues, they are working on on establishing these tools, so all the country teams and RCOs will be able to use it. And then we are also working in a transparency portal that basically this portal will display data of all UNDG members that are currently publishing data as per the IATI standards. And the data is will be updated in real time, pulling the data from the IATI registry. And the portal is meant to be a way for our partners to see all UNDG related data in one place. And the information will be able to be displayed by country, UN agency, or sector. So basically, through this portal, let me see if I can access through this portal, we will be able to capture, to see which agencies are working in any specific country, with which budget. Let me see. Okay. Oh no. Yes, I guess. Yes. Okay, it's coming. So this will be the kind of information. This will be the kind of link that you will be able to put in your websites. For instance, here, the information from Gambia, you can see that there are 51 active projects from agencies, programs, and funds that are publishing the data through IATI. You see, like there are 51 programs, projects 128, the total budget that the UN agencies that are, again, publishing through IATI are spending in this country. And then here you can see also the agencies, like the percentages and the budgets, and then which areas of work this the budget goes to. So this information will be, this site will be launched in a couple of weeks, and you might be interested in using the information for your own One UN sites. So this is all from my side. Thank you very much, and I would like to give the floor now to Florence Marshall. Thank you very much. Florence is not there.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Caroline had to step out, who introduced us at the beginning, so let me just jump in quickly, just to say Florence is doesn't seem to be online at the moment, and maybe let me just have one more look to make sure that indeed she is not here, or at least not online. One moment, please. I would suggest maybe moving to
Pablo. Okay.
Yes. So let me hand the floor back to Maria, who will introduce Pablo.
So Pablo is our communications specialist in the Bosnia-Herzegovina Resident Coordinator Office, and he will be sharing with us his amazing experience making communications everyone's business in Bosnia-Herzegovina. So the floor is yours, Pablo. Thank you for participating.
Thank you. Good morning, good day, and good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. And I want to start with quite a simple message that would possibly be appreciated after all the complexities that we all know have to be followed in establishing a website. Have no fear. So be courageous and just rely on experience that so many countries to date have gone through. All of us faced problems, and Bosnia and Herzegovina established One UN website 16 months ago. So it was December 2014, and we were among the first ones. And problems at that stage were of somewhat different nature than those that we are facing these days. But you know, first step is already there. Just by starting the process, you're halfway to your new website. What is really important? Be realistic. It sounds really easy, but nevertheless, it's extremely important to be realistic of what you're expecting your future website to be. So decide what will be its primary purpose, and decide who are targeted audiences, who you want to communicate with, and in what way. So try to keep it simple. It will help you also present it or pitch it to colleagues from the communications group, to heads of agencies and the United Nations country team. Expectations should be those that you can easily meet altogether. If you raise the bar too high, you increase the chances of not meeting the goal. Keep it simple, tailored to your needs and capacity to administrate future website. Many of us, even myself, are sometimes extremely overwhelmed with everything that is out there. We love a website of an organization, CSO, or another institution, and are often unable to realize how much work needs to be invested to keep the website rolling continuously. So talk to colleagues, talk to people who are actually developing website, whoever you have next to you in your country, or just use Yammer to see what others did. It's quite simple, and we are all belonging to the same community. So it's really great opportunity for us to exchange views and matter. In terms of what we want to achieve, don't forget that transparency is the crucial. So transparency is the key word. It was for us in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We aimed to present all information that donors, communities, beneficiaries, media, as well as academia might need to write about what we do, to get acquainted to who we are and how we do our business, what our goals are, and what we achieved to date. And of course, to keep them up to speed in what we are doing in country. It's an important thing to actually not be alone in this endeavor. So the third point there is motivating your colleagues. First item within brackets is a 13-year-old test. The way I pitched it to my colleagues was quite simple. The website that we had before migrating to a new platform, the one that we are using today, was something a 13-year-old could literally develop in a month with moderate web use knowledge. So it was that type of a test, and all of us shared, let's say, same frustration. Could we do better? And if we are doing something that should look better and serve a greater purpose, shouldn't we do it better than a 13-year-old kid can? So it was quite simple. And don't worry about how you do it. The setup is already there. We have a CQ5, we have iHelp, and all of those things work in our favor, because we know the limitations and we work within those limitations of a website. So the UN country team and communications group were fully aware that the joint website will also show that we walk the talk of communicating as one. Communicating as one is really important. If you are looking at what others are doing, web page of UN country team in a country shows all the agencies, resident and non-resident, all the projects, everything we do. It's basically a compendium of our knowledge, publications, contacts, people, experiences, and stories. So it's a great opportunity to show that we are one family. And the webpage that we are doing and administrating for Bosnia and Herzegovina is still the most accessible presentation of the UN country team's work in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So just imagine if we were to print a leaflet and inform a community in a country that isn't so large, with 3.7 million population, it would be a waste of money. It would be really slow to try to continuously update printed materials. This was an easy way around. Okay, and now to the second slide, the last slide I have. Check and recheck and recheck. Learned from our own experience. Do not start developing a website before deciding on its structure. It is really important. Don't go into details into CQ5, establishing web pages until you're really sure about all the elements, all the sections and subsections, so everything you want to do with it. Once you set it up on paper, it's quite easy to go through and do a checklist, everything that was done. Ask your colleagues for comments when you're developing a website. So what I think, how certain sections would work. Explain to them what content would be there, how many photos, whether you would use videos, do you have videos, and text. So what we did is we took the existing website, copied everything in an Excel table, and then looked at it and decided what we wanted to remove and what we had to add to make this website really reflecting UN country teams' work in country. Number 5, lead by example. Show to colleagues what you want to achieve and lead by example. That's the best way to do it. We are all part of the UN family that delivers change globally and are there to support one another. Thanks to UN Development Group and UNDP colleagues in New York, to be honest, and especially the iHelp team, we, Bosnia and Herzegovina, were able to address several challenges in the website development. And it was really easy for us to communicate, work with everyone, and it was a great support. And I consider our Bosnia and Herzegovina's website a joint success of all of us. With Yammer in place, of course, and I'm not sure how many people are on Yammer, but it's a great resource because we have a peer-to-peer support group which can be of use to us all. And the last one is make UN site or make communications everyone business. Right now, most of the UN agencies operating in Bosnia and Herzegovina are submitting their content and publishing on UN country teams website, regardless of whether they have their individual web pages for Bosnia and Herzegovina. We basically reached an agreement that if a platform is established for all of us to use, why not using it? Whatever you have already, if you are producing something for web, for publishing, for a leaflet, send it to us, we'll just post it on a website. Keep information about your agency fresh. So colleagues from other agencies or any agency periodically get a reminder from me to check whether information, presentation of their UN agency is in perfect order. If they want to update it with new figures, new projects, whatever is there. And I wanted to mention that what is great about the new website, it, regardless of how frequently you update information, it can look fresh because we have excellent Twitter and Facebook widgets that are embedded. So if you update it once a week with a new article or news piece, the widget for Twitter is updated as frequently and in real time as any of the staffers are posting. So you can look at what we did, what other countries did. It looks really great because whoever visits our website sees the most important news or top news, can access all the projects, and can see what's happening on social media. Everything is less than 2 clicks away. If you need to search for information too far or go too deep in a website, it's of no use. So have no fear, be realistic, motivate everyone and gather a group of people who can join in. Check everything and recheck and lead by example, because it's all of us. And I want to again thank all the colleagues for helping and being interested in this. I'm sure that with what has been done in the past, we will be able to develop even more in terms of content quality, various widgets, and embedding social networks, Twitter, website, maps, Google, whatever we have available, to make brilliant sites that truly represent complexity and authentic nature of the UN work in every country. Okay, that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Pavla. This is Peter again from UN DOCO. We really appreciated your presentation, and yes, have no fear and lead by example. I think that applies to many things, including websites. Let me just take a moment to invite all of us who are present for this webinar to post your questions in the question box. We are happy to answer all of your questions to the best of our ability. And let me also, while you're typing into the question box, let me just take an opportunity to introduce those of us who have joined us a little bit after Caroline gave the initial opening. So we have from the UNDG Communications and Advocacy Working Group, we have Madeline Eisner from UNICEF. We also have from our country support team, Sarah Ferro Olivella. We also have Frederick Matis from the country support team. So, you know, on that note, let me make maybe just a couple of further comments. This webinar is a focus on content and all the things that one needs to do before he or she starts to embark upon the actual implementation of the actual rollout of your website. And we will have a sequel to this webinar, which will focus on all the sort of nitty-gritty technical support questions which you might have after this stage, and that webinar will happen in the near future. So on that note, let me just take a look at our question box here, see whether we have any questions. Oh, we have a few questions here. Let me just, okay, so we have a number of questions. Let me just open up the question box. Great. Okay, the first question is DOCO, and this comes from Michael Wangusa, and maybe you could also identify which country you are in when you post your question. Is DOCO recommending a standard UN country website template design for countries to adopt as UNDP did? Oh yes, from the RCO in Uganda, you have that information there. Mm-hmm. Maria, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, currently we are, UN DOCO doesn't, it's not proposing a specific template for the one UN sites. Basically, we want to let that, I mean, to let the country office the UN cities decide on the look and feel of their sites. As Peter has mentioned, and Pavle has mentioned, the UNDP headquarters is providing some support to country teams to develop their websites. And within this support, they are proposing a template. It's a template that it's a simple, very intuitive, and very user-friendly template that you can see in the Bosnia-Herzegovina site, also in South Sudan, also in Moldova site. And Cambodia, they have also use this template, as far as I understand. So the short answer will be no. UN DOCO is not proposing a template, but if you are seeking for the support of UNDP, they are working within a specific software, CQ5. They will propose you to use this template for the development of your site.
Okay, great. Thank you, Maria. Great. So let me post. Let me read off another question. This one is from Buwan Adhikari, and also I think we can bring in Pablo if he has any tips from his perspective. Pablo, if you're there, just listen carefully because this question might be given to you. I am partnership. So this is from Buwan Adhikari in. Let's see whether we have a country listed. No. I'm partnership and communications officer at UN Mongolia. There we go. I also chair the UNCG. We have UNCT website in WordPress. Mm-hmm. The website is primitive and I'm constantly working on it. I'm not web or IT professional, though I can post the content. Since all UNCG members, agency comms officers are already occupied, it is very difficult to get their cooperation. Secondly, there is budget constraint too. There's expertise constraint too. The other challenge is communicating the joint efforts rather than promoting specific achievements. Can you share some ideas to mitigate such challenges? Mm-hmm. So let me throw open the question to Maria and Pablo, and not an easy one to answer.
Yeah.
Maria?
So thank you very much for that question. I think there are a lot of country teams or communications group or communication specialists that are basically sharing this sort of challenges. And I was one of them a couple of years ago when I was working in an RCO myself, and I was using exactly the same software as you are using, the WordPress. And yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to actually embark everyone as Pablo said, everyone's communications, everyone's business. But I don't know, a couple of ideas. Maybe you have tried them already, but just to put them out there. For instance, in Suriname, what we did it was to have a training in WordPress to other comms group, and to actually share with them, like, not just the technical aspects of how to update the site, but also like how was the best way for them to share the content in the website. It's also important to share with our colleagues that basically being able to update a site, being able to work in a content management system is like a basic skill that you need nowadays as a professional. Especially, I mean, it doesn't matter if you work in communications, in program, it just doesn't matter. I mean, you have to be like, how can I put it, like digitally knowledgeable. I don't know if that's the right way in English, but actually it's essential. So maybe you can pitch it like that. but in Suriname, it worked. And also it's really important to have, as I said in the presentation, the UNCT approval. I mean, if the UNCT is actually committed to this, the UNCG should answer to an operational strategy to disseminate the content, etc. So in terms of getting the cooperation, maybe you have to like first build their skills, and then and build this like technical expertise that everyone should have, and it might be a way to make the website everyone's business. And if people get like excited about it, maybe you will be able to get more buy-in from your comms group. I don't know if Pablo has any other suggestions, Pablo?
Yes, if I may, I would recommend. It is one of the problems that is often met, and it actually deals with all of us working within our comfort zone. If I have too much of a workload of regular activities that I need to do and the results I have to deliver, for which I'm directly held responsible or accountable, then I don't have so much time or space to be creative, to think outside of the box, and to deal with other matters that might be consuming too much of my time. So my recommendation would be, if possible, you could think of the problem by splitting the task in two segments. Because for website administration, what you have to do is to create content and then to post it or to administrate the website. For website posting or administrating, especially if you're using WordPress. We, in past, have been using services of UN interns. So literally interns who would be working on a computer and inserting all the information in WordPress content management system. And your colleagues, the entire UN communication group, can then focus only on the segment of producing content. So make the stories look the best possible way. Because if, for example, UNICEF or UNHCR wants to produce a piece of news, they produce it and they don't need to worry how to put it on a website. So you split the task on two practical issues, ask people who are within the communications group to do their daily work anyway, and just to share with you so that you can post it easily, and have an intern if you have budgetary limitations, and of course if you want to take some burden on your shoulder to do the not the laying out but simply inserting information into the website. How does that sound? Would that be feasible?
Thank you very much, Pavla, and thank you very much, Maria, on this challenging question. Let me move along to the next question. This one comes from Monica in UN, Mexico. And the two questions is, what is the name of the Yammer group? And I want to ask Pavla if he can expand on the content contribution, if they have guidelines, a calendar, and so. So let me pass the floor to Pavla. Maybe you can take that one, Pavla.
Yes, but I literally need 10 seconds. I'm having some problems with the Wi-Fi. Literally 10 seconds, sorry.
Okay. So, Maria, let me.
In terms of the content, from the agencies, I would like probably to answer that question. But in terms of the calendar, it's always helpful to have a calendar of events for the year. You can use, many agencies have these corporate calendars at the beginning of the year. DPI, for instance, the Department of Public Information also has a calendar that you might be able to use in terms of like identifying key international days or key international events that you can to basically develop a specific content. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, okay, great, Pablo. Thank you.
Pablo.
Sorry for this. We made an agreement among ourselves with regards to the content creation. So any agency that has something to share and wants to speak about the work that they are doing, they submit it in a format which is of their preference, so to say. It has to be a Word document, of course. It has to be written in a nice way, because we wouldn't allow something of really poor quality to be posted one way or another. So the burden on producing good quality material is on agencies, always. Some of the non-resident agencies are also contributing materials through, for example, Vienna or Budapest offices, and PR people who are based there, while their project staff is based in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Are those we communicate with when they need something to be posted on our website. We don't have a specific format for news articles. However, we developed quite a simple template in Word for joint projects presentation. Few elements that you can see just by visiting our website. For all of the joint projects, you have them listed as small banners in nice colors in a right rail. So each project has to have basic information, budget, dynamics, success story, or video embedded if there are any. And we don't make it too complicated for anyone to contribute. Too many rules often means that some people will simply drop the ball. It will be overly complex. So yes, keep it simple, keep it realistic in terms of expectations. And of course, as Maria mentioned, we use the internationally observed days and weeks calendar developed by the United Nations, the one that you can find on UN Global website. all agencies in country received an email stating these are the days. If you're planning to market days that are within your realm, so to say, or area of work, please send whatever materials you want us to share, to post, to publish. I hope that helps. So keeping it simple is a keyword if you want to keep the group, or how to say, keep the enthusiasm flowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hello. This is Madeline Eisner from the working group in UNICEF. I would absolutely agree. I think this your line about keeping it as simple is really clearly important, and I think that we can all learn from your project template. I would say that, and this is I think answering a little of the previous question also in terms of human resource capacity and buy-in. I think and I go back to a lot of what Maria was saying. I think a clever way of really creating content is very much photographic. I think you can really, say a lot with photographs and very good subtitles and headlines. I also think to get people involved, I found in my history of working with the UN, one of the best ways to get people involved is doing interviews and basically doing a very simple Q&A lineup, and that actually creates some very interesting kinds of content. So I would also contribute in those two areas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madeline. Thank you very much, Pavla. Let me move on in the spirit of time management to the next question. This comes also from Michael Wangusa in Uganda, but I think it's an interesting question, so I want to raise this now. Could you please share some tips on promoting the website to key target audiences so that it has more visitors? Maria, do you want to take this question, or Pavla?
I can.
Okay,
Yeah,
Maria.
and then Pavla can maybe add. I think in those terms, nowadays, I think the best, not the best, no, but one of a popular way to go about it is basically to use social media for this. As you might know, Facebook and Twitter, they have specific ways of promoting content, and this way of promoting content can be done by like targeting specific audiences and a specific, even like age range of people, like by interests, by topics, by you name it. So basically, in terms of sharing your website, you have to share your website in terms of, you have to sell your website in terms of your content. So if your content is interesting, then it will be easier for you to sell like your website as a channel that people would like to follow to get this interesting content. So share your interesting content in Twitter, share your interesting content on Facebook, and when sharing it, try to target your audiences through the options that they give you. This will be one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, which is more rudimentary, but that it actually also works, it might be to contact your key partners, partners that you know that have websites, and maybe you can share with them, I don't know, develop a very basic banner and share it with them so they can post it on their site. When they are they are addressing issues that you might be working on as well. That will be a way of also promoting your site in other sites. Links on other sites to your site, as you might know, also help in the search engine optimization. So that will actually bring you more visits and also will make you go up in of promoting your website. And then just a last thing, also in your printing materials, like in your non-digital materials, try to add your website as not as a tagline, but like sort of, just include your website whenever you can, signatures, etc. So people are aware that you are available 24/7 in a website. So those are like a few things, but if you need more support on that sense, please send us an email. I will be happy to to support in any other means to promote your site. Pablo, I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yes, if I may, first and foremost, and thank you, it's a great question. Of course, that one of the preconditions in addressing it properly is knowing your audience, which is quite difficult for us, all of us, especially dealing with the online audiences, because I personally believe that we would have a great use of more advanced web analytics, so that we can literally see who visits us, what is the response time, what is the time that people spend reading certain materials, what is more or less appealing in terms of content. But what we know so far, jobs section or advertisement or posts is always the web page within the website with highest number of visitors. So everyone goes there. We use posts related to jobs to tweet and to post on Facebook. Other materials that are interesting. For example, right now we are looking for international expert in tourism development. We are not only tweeting about the posts, we are tweeting about the project that we are implementing and great expectations, and are asking people are interested to be part of the team. So what is always great is try to create teasers, how to tease people to look for information that you already have. If you have publications, select a line or two that are really strong lines, strong messages. Share them via Facebook, via Twitter. And of course, what I mentioned, social media, as Maria did, we need to stay within the same communication platform, meaning we need to stay online. It doesn't pay for if you advertise your website on a TV or in print or anywhere else. It's not where the online audience is at the time. So everything should be easily accessible. Call for action or an initiative. For example, just recently we had I Light It Up Blue, marking of an International Day of Awareness. Oh, sorry, you have that message that you will restart in 40 minutes. So it was one of the actions that, one of the initiatives we shared with everyone through our website. Anything like that, anything of relevance to your audiences in country is really great. Show that UN in your country walks the talk. These are the messages, this is our agenda, and this is how we do it. We do it together with people. So partners, beneficiaries, communities, the more the merrier always. And one thing that worked in past might still work in certain countries. We were previously, in order to attract more people to visit our website for the first time, we were using MailChimp to do email messages that are basically kind of electronic newsletter or electronic bulletin. And I'm still receiving many of those from various countries, UNDP and UN both. What you do is quite simple. A small photo, a line or two explaining what the story is about, and a link to your website, so that anyone who wants to read about the story you are presenting actually reads it on your website, and then you drag them in. So you basically shift the audience to your website, those who are behind the computer screen and receive an email. That may work. There's some excellent examples. It worked so-so in our case, but to be honest, I'm not completely in favor or against it. A recipe for one country may be good, but not so applicable in another country. But you know, why not test it?
Pablo, I'm very sorry to jump in. We only have about 10 to 12 minutes left, and I just want to make sure that we get to a few more questions.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
I ask you to just maybe conclude your thought, and then I will answer a couple more questions.
No, I actually did.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we have a number of other questions in the question box. We will probably not get to all of the questions today during this recorded webinar, but we would be happy to, in the near future, produce an FAQ which will attempt to provide answers to all of your questions. So I just want to make that clear now, because our computer, we have a technical glitch, and our computer will sign off in a few minutes. Let me take another question for both for Maria and for Pavla, or also for Madeline as well, if she wishes to jump in. This is from Natalie Dietrich-Jones. In the absence of dedicated communication staff, who will be responsible for updating and managing the UN website? Please, Maria, do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, that's a tricky situation. A lot of country teams have this situation where you don't have a communications specialist in your RC office or a unique. Then eventually you might be able to include any other communication specialist from any other agencies in any coordination, in any communication activities for the whole UNCT. I mean, at the end of the day, you will have to, if you think that a website is important for your UNCT, you will have to, but like the UNCT should appoint someone to actually be sort of like the focal point to update the site. But at the same time, if you are certain that you will not be able to manage it and to make it sustainable, then you might not be, maybe you don't want to like start a site. I mean, that's, you should start from there. Like, do you think you will be able to make your project sustainable? If not, well, then you might think about it twice. And if the UNCT still thinks that it's a project to take on, you should recommend maybe hiring someone to to actually take the lead on managing the site, because at the end of the day, it's a full-time job. And managing the site is not an ICT person; it's a comms person, which is always sometimes this is this is tricky. So yeah, that's from my side, but it's a difficult question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me maybe take another question, and then we might need to wrap up shortly. This comes from Sharon Carter Burke in UN Barbados. Are the stories single agency focus, or do they have to be joint agency work?
From my perspective, I think the stories can be single agency work or joint work. I mean, at the end of the day, one UN site is basically a way to capture what the UN does in a country, how the UN works in a country. And the UN is comprised at the end of the day for agencies, funds, and programs. So they are part of the system. If, I don't know, UNFPA is starting a project and they are, I don't know, partnering with the X ministry, I mean, why not? I mean, it's I think it's relevant. It's part of the UN work. So I think it should be able to be captured in the website. I mean, the best situation is where you have agencies working together, because that's when we tell our story of coordination that everyone wants to hear, not just donors, but also government. But I mean, this is not the case all the time. So if you don't have those examples, my proposal will be to actually share the single agency stories as well on the site, because they are part of the UN system.
If I may, sorry, it will only be a few sentences from our experience. What we are doing right now is, since we have 4 joint programs or projects implemented in Bosnia and Herzegovina, most of the stories you will be able to see on UN Country Team Bosnia and Herzegovina website relate to joint projects. But this, however, doesn't mean that we are not featuring stories produced by individual agencies, specifically those agencies who do not have their own websites. So a single website for the entire UN country team is the UN country team's website. Joint projects first and foremost, but of course, whoever wants to share, whoever wants to contribute, the more the merrier. Just keep it simple and allow all agencies to participate equally. That is important. That's it.
Thank you very much, Pablo, and thank you very much, Maria. Another question from Yolanda Macias. How much time it takes on average the whole process from initial conception to launching? Maria, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Pablo can also add afterwards, but I think in general it will take 6 months in terms of identifying the content, writing the content, the content, and then once you have, I mean, that's the laborious part of the whole process. Then uploading the content on a site, that will take you a week, not more than that. But you have to have everything ready, and with everything ready, we mean both texts, photos, key words, etc. But again, we will go through all that part in the next webinar, through all the technical part and how to prepare to put your content online. But yeah, around 6 months. What do you think, Pablo?
I would say, in case that you're already in possession of an older website or at least collection of materials, meaning profiles of all the agencies, that it could be a 3 month of preparations, so putting all things in order on paper, collecting all the materials, and literally week to 2 weeks to upload it, to test it, to work around any bugs that may appear, and off you go. So it's not really all that complicated, and most of the preparatory work is being done by exchange of emails and documents with fellows from other agencies. In our case, it was 3 months.
Great.
Thank you.
Great, thank you both. A question from Ninama Rai. In order to search for a UNCT related info, I often try to go to their websites. How often these websites do not appear easily on search engine searches. Any recommendation on how to optimize these search engines so that the UNCT websites are more visible? Maria?
Yeah, short answer, I mean, in general, if your website is either based on a kind of new content management system, either WordPress, CQ5, Joomla, or Drupal, these softwares are already help you with your search engine optimization. That's one part. The second part, of course, I mean, there are people that are dedicated to, they are SEO specialists, search engine optimization specialists. This is like a full-time job. So, I mean, if you cannot make, you can have a SEO strategy actually to have specific keywords in your site that Google will actually capture, having, as I said before, links in other sites to promote your site, etc. I mean, we can actually, if you want, we can you can send me an email and we can work in a sort of basic strategy on how to optimize the search engine of your website. But my recommendation will be to hire someone that in a day will actually make that happen, because there are people that work on this. When I was working in Suriname, our website was in the 3rd Google page. When we launched it, I hired someone. In 2 days, it was the first results in Google. So there are ways of working around the search optimization engine for your site. I mean, you can do basic stuff, and if it doesn't work, you can actually hire someone to do it. It will not be expensive, and it will be always worth it.
Thank you very much, Maria. Let me just sort of bring this webinar to a gentle close, because we have some technical obstacles that are facing us. But I think that we've had a really great discussion on how to go about thinking about your website and planning for a website launch with a focus on content. And we've had about 88 to 89 people online for this webinar, so it's a great turnout. We thank you for all of your questions, for your participation. And like I mentioned, we will go about producing a frequently asked questions sheet to help answer the questions that we weren't able to get to today. And I would also add that we plan to have a sequel to this webinar in the future. which will focus more on sort of implementation, technical questions that may arise when you are, after you've launched your website. So on behalf of UNDOCO, let me just thank all the participants in this webinar. I'd like to thank Caroline Cooper-Vox from UNDP and thank UNDP particularly for their technical support to UNCT websites. I'd like to thank Maria and Pabla for their great presentations and their substantive support. Also to Madeline, who came from the working group to answer a number of key questions. And for all of those online, thank you very much. Have a great day, great evening, great morning, wherever you happen to be. And we look forward to staying in touch. Thank you very much.